It's time to Get Your Geek On with Dave Gramillion.
Ah, yes! Welcome to another Saturday night rendition of Get Your Geek On. I am Dave Gramillion. This is powered by Southtown Games on Pleasanton Road near Loop 410 on the south side of San Antonio, where your gaming family wants to welcome you. Here we will talk Star Wars, Star Trek, DC, Marvel, video gaming, really all things geek that have dominated this little world of ours. You see, geek is not what it was 20 or 30 years ago. Geek is in. Geek is very in. Geek is now the mainstream, and we are here to talk the latest and greatest that is geek right here on 930 AM The Answer Talk Radio and 930amtheanswer.com. This is Season 2, Episode Sweet 16. And tonight, we are going to talk about what else? I mean, it's got to be Discovery. We are so talking Star Trek Discovery tonight. We saw the first 2 episodes courtesy of Starfleet Region 3, and we will be talking about that as well. I will also be giving my official announcement as to whether or not I am signing up for CBS All Access to watch Star Trek Discovery. I got to admit, it was a tough decision, made a little tougher by the political controversy that the cast decided to drag into the show. We'll be talking about that coming up as well. Blade Runner news. Blade Runner 2049 is right around the corner, coming out next Friday, and we will discuss the movie. We will discuss box office predictions as well as critical predictions, and we have a little bit of news here for you regarding Blade Runner 2049. We're getting in early, and by we, I mean me. Warner Brothers has invited me to come out to see an early screening of Blade Runner 2049, and we will do a live review immediately afterwards.
How many tickets did they give you?
Just the one.
Thanks a lot, Dave.
Well, don't blame. It's actually Warner Brothers. They gave him 1 ticket.
Just the one.
Thanks.
That was all I said.
He
all right.
requested more, but they didn't give him more.
Then again, I don't think they want us, me and Goose.
That's what you told me.
I did?
Yes.
Anyway, we'll also talk a little bit about SeaWorld. We're out there Halloween event that kicks off Halloween for them. We'll talk about that a little bit as well. Marvel news, the Inhumans. It's not looking good, guys. It's really not looking good for the Inhumans. We'll talk about that and why Marvel is just...
That premiered yesterday.
Yes, it did, actually, but all the reviews started coming in, so we'll talk about that as well. And we'll wrap it up by talking Discovery versus Orville. I mean, this was bound to happen. We were looking forward to it the whole time, and now that both shows have finally premiered, we can have a showdown of sorts and discuss which one we think will not be around much longer. All right, so with that being said, we can go ahead and get ready to kick off the premier talk radio show for geeks across the United States. But first, I got to make sure I have everything on my checklist ready to go. So first, do I have something to drink? Because if you're going to talk for almost an hour, you better be able to wet the whistle. Got that covered there. I also like to keep a back scratcher handy because you know there's always that one spot in the middle of your back you just can't reach. You know that spot. You know the one I'm talking about, so I keep a back scratcher handy here in the studio. And let's face it, if you're going to have a geeky show of any kind, podcast, YouTube channel, talk radio, what have you, you better have a lightsaber. And I have Old Blue, my lightsaber of many, many years right here, keeping the Minox at bay. And, of course, we have also added in my sonic screwdriver. Perfect. I also want to make sure that I'm decked out in geeky apparel because, oh my God, it is so much fun to go out and spend money on geeky t-shirts, which you can do also by saving 10% at riptapparel.com. That's RIPT apparel.com. Save 10% when you use the promo code GYGO. I am wearing my Darth Vader You don't underestimate the power of San Antonio t-shirt and my Counter Logic gaming hat. So I am set there. If you look to my left, your right, across the radio dial, you will see my partner in crime here, my fellow co-host. He is our Minion. He is Peter Gonzalez, the founder, the Grand Admiral, the Grand Poobah of the Star Wars Society of San Antonio.
Hey-o. What's going on, everybody? What's up?
Minion, you look rather dapper today.
Thank you. I actually wore a tie. I actually bring in some class for once to the show.
Yes, I got some class in here. Hey, how about that?
I'm actually wearing my Batman Animated Series tie because it's got Batman, it's got Robin, Two-Face, Poison Ivy, the Joker, and this is made out of silk, by the way. Riddler. Yeah, I've had this for a while. I was like I told some of my students, This tie is actually older than some of y'all.
We're going to have to get a picture of that and put it up on Facebook.
Yes.
On our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/GYGO radio. Now, if you look further to my left, your right, across the radio dial, you will find the man spinning the ones and zeros. He is our sound prognosticator. He is Goose.
Hello.
Hey, Goose, what are you rocking tonight?
Well, I got this from a little inspiration from last week from you. Little classic Nintendo controller, and it says, "Let's settle this like adults." Again, this is the classic 8-bit Nintendo controller.
An elegant weapon, but a more civilized age.
Outstanding. Awesome.
Yes.
Okay, so let's go ahead and let's just dive right in here, shall we? We're going to kick this shindig off right, and we're going to talk some Star Trek news.
Yeah. If you see Klingons, better make sure that your face is down. And if you're in the fleet, grab your uniform, cause it's future chic. All the haters know, we got photon torpedoes. Throw the Vulcan up if you're not from Romulus, and stay with me now, live long and prosperous.
Just baby, I'm Skynet. Just baby, I'm Skynet. Just baby, I'm Skynet.
Got to Kirk.
Alrighty, I want to give a quick shout out to Jeremy Karsten over at the Starfleet International Region 3 fan club. They arranged to have us come out, and they hosted a little shindig at a movie theater where we got to watch the first 2 episodes of Star Trek Discovery with them. So big shout out to those guys down there. Thank you very much for having us out. Star Trek Discovery is finally out, and boy, was it a killer for CBS. And I mean that in a good way, which is not often. We don't get to often talk about good news around here because for whatever reason, if it bleeds, it leads, and negative news tends to dominate. But the Sunday premiere broadcast on CBS of Star Trek Discovery raked in 9.6 million viewers.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
9.6
pretty big
million. Whew. CBS Research projects Star Trek Discovery will actually increase up to 15 million viewers with what they call a 7-day delayed viewing. That's people who have recorded it but maybe just haven't watched it quite yet. It is a single-day record for sign-ups on CBS All Access. Now, they didn't say how many that was, but they did say that it was a single-day record. Fantastic, awesome, great news, love it. Good news for them. All new episodes will be available on demand weekly after 7:30 p.m. Central Time. That's 8:30 Eastern on Sundays, exclusively only on CBS All Access if you're in the United States. If you're outside the United States, you get it on Netflix. Great.
You can?
Well, I have Netflix. A lot of people in the USA have Netflix.
Oh, cool. I could probably get it through Netflix because I get
Not
it
in
through
the United States.
Not in the
No,
US.
but my subscription service.
Viva Mexico?
See.
Oh, nice. Oh, you bugger.
So much for coming by your place, Goose.
You probably have a bigger TV anyway. So.
Yeah, but y'all can still come over and have, we can have pizza and popcorn and stuff. So.
There we go.
There we go.
Star Trek Discovery was also the #1 most watched non-sports broadcast event that aired on September 24th. Because remember, being on Sunday, it had to go up against Sunday Night Football.
On a competing network.
On a competing network. So, and of course, you have other shows on Sunday night as well. Of course, it's not going to beat football. I mean, even with their ratings dropping like a rock, it's still not going to beat football. But it was the most watched non-sports broadcast for that day.
Are you ready for some Klingons? Sorry.
Well, no. I'll allow that. That was well played, Minion. Very good.
Thank you. That's why I'm
I think
here.
Goose is just jealous. He kind of shot you a look there. I think he's jealous he didn't think of it first. Yeah. If you're wondering why we're talking about our looks and what we're wearing and who's looking at whom, that's because we are at facebook.com/GYGO radio. We do a Facebook Live broadcast as well, so you can watch us as we do the show. Okay, so let's go around the horn here. Let's talk some Star Trek Discovery. I want one pro and one con from each of y'all regarding the show. I'll go ahead and kick things off here. For me personally, the show itself, first of all, as far as a pro goes, it was brilliant. It looked fantastic. The visuals were movie quality. And I don't mean, the visuals for the pilot were probably better than most of the visuals from the next-gen movies. With the exception of maybe First Contact, but they were better than Insurrection.
We're 15 years removed from that, though.
Yeah, but I'm saying, though, for a TV series. Now, the budget per episode was a whopping $8 million. So if you watch the first 2 episodes on Sunday, you got to watch $16 million go across your screen. Yikes. That's a lot of money.
16? You serious?
Yep.
$16 million total.
$8.5 million per episode.
Per episode. So that's a lot of money, and it showed. I thought the visuals were absolutely stunning. Just fantastic. The biggest con for me, though, has to be, and we were worried about this going in, the technology. Because everything, I don't mind a sleek look. I don't mind a clean look because it is 2017 and not 1966. I get that. But you have walking, talking, sitting, standing, moving, gesturing holograms.
That apparently have a 360 point of view.
They have a 360 point of view, and these are communicators. It's not like what you find on the holodeck or something. No. They didn't have that technology until almost 100 years later in the 4th or 5th season of Deep Space Nine.
Yep.
So that was the first time we saw it in Star Trek, and now apparently they have it almost a full century before. And not only that, but what really bugged me is when Sarek, as a hologram, walked across Sonequa Martin
Spoilers,
Green's,
by the way. Spoilers, just saying.
Minor. I mean, they know Sarek's in it. So he walks across her room, and his hologram leans against a table. So I'm trying to picture how this works, because either Sarek has a conveniently placed table just at the same exact spot that is in her quarters, or he's leaning against nothing for real, but the table there, I don't get how that works. Plus, it makes me wonder, can a hologram appear on board the bridge of the USS Discovery now and start pushing buttons on the bridge? If they can make contact with corporeal, actual furniture, why not?
Boy, I'm sure the doctor from Voyager wishes they had hollow emitters all over their ship in the 24th century.
Yeah, no kidding.
He could have gotten out of the lab a lot sooner.
Holy cow.
Took him to the middle of season 3 to get out of sick bay.
Sorry, so that is my pro, my con for Star Trek Discovery. Minion, hit me with your pro and your con for Discovery.
Well, I only got to see about half of it. Unfortunately, I had my dog died around that time, unfortunately, and we were taking care of that. So I only came in about halfway through everything. But like you said, the visuals look great, and it was like, wow. And I kept asking, is this set in the JJ verse? But apparently it's not.
It sure looks like it, though.
I know. And it was like, wow, besides the lens flares, everything actually has color instead of... I mean, I guess they were in that little asteroid-type feel thing, and it's like, there's color instead of, seeing just the blackness of space, which was what I was so used to in Next Gen and with everything that came before and after. But my only downside is like, okay, I wish I would have been able to see the whole thing. Cause I'm still not sure what's going on entirely.
We'll watch that later.
We'll party at Goose's. But I did like how crisp and how clean the uniforms were. But I'm still not sure about how the Klingons look, because I'm so used to Next Gen's Klingons and the movie Klingons and stuff like that.
These double-nostriled Klingons are kind of funky looking.
That was kind of
Is that your con there? Is that what you're going with?
I think that was it. And I just want to... I want to sit down and watch the whole thing.
about 10 years later.
Yeah, con. Con! But that was the only thing. But I just want... And like I said, I only came in about midway, and I kept wondering, well, why is Sarek here again? And what is her connection to...
Well, they go into that.
And what's the name of the actress who's in this one?
Sonequa Martin Green.
I guess she got killed off of Walking Dead. She's got nothing else to do. But yeah, I want to find out a little bit more about this. I'm just, want to find what's going on. I mean, it looks great. But
right.
Yeah, Goose, I'm down to hear your take.
Goose, your pro and your con, please, for Star Trek Discovery.
My pro is basically Star Trek's back on television.
Woohoo! Yay!
In app form, streaming, but that's not a problem. I think the biggest con I have is exactly. It boils down to the Klingons. It always comes back to the Klingons, because in Enterprise Season 4 they did a good job of explaining how we got from ridges to no ridges back to ridges. They did a great job of explaining that, but throughout the television shows. Next Gen, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, and Enterprise, the Klingons basically stayed consistent.
They did.
Even in the original series movies, there was a consistent look to the Klingons.
Yep.
And if you're going to say, well, there's 24 different houses, so they look different because we all look different.
True, very true.
But we still have, and so yes, there's commonalities there, but it is such a departure from everything we know about the Klingons that to be set where it's set 10 years before Kirk, which, by the way, Desperate Measures does a good job of explaining the uniforms and the ship design. And we can go into that if you want to later. There's a tie-in novel called Desperate Measures where the crew of the Shinzu meets Christopher Pike, and the Enterprise takes place a year before the premiere and a year after Talos 4. So if you watch the Cage or Menagerie. But that's it. And the continuity issues. The chevron on the uniform with the rank insignia there. I can get the rank insignia fine, but the chevron, no, not after everything they established in the original series.
Alrighty, so that's our one pro and our one con overall, and we said this during our review. We did a live review immediately after watching this, and I'm actually going to revise my estimate up. I gave the pilot a 7,
yes,
and I gave the second episode a 6.5. I'm going to revise it up half a point
for each.
For each, I'm going to give it a 7.5 and a 7 respectively.
Okay, not bad.
So what do you think there, Goose?
I'm going to say 8 on. Well, I think I'm going to give the first episode a 7, but the second episode I'm going to give an 8 because you got to know the characters more in the second half than you did in the first half.
Now, so we got our pros and our cons out of the way, but unfortunately, the crew of the Star Trek Discovery had to go and get all political.
The cast, not the crew.
Well, the cast. This is true. So in keeping up with the NFL protests that have been going on, and now the NBA is apparently planning something, and now there are 8-year-olds that are taking a knee, and so on and so forth. So now it's spreading around, and sure enough, the cast tweeted out a picture of the entire cast of Discovery taking a knee. And they never really said why, other than we just have to assume that they're supporting the NFL players who are supporting an equality movement of some kind. To be honest, I've never really understood the whole goal of the kneeling thing, other than to raise awareness of inequality issues. But I never really understood the goal. But, so, the question of the week that we had on Facebook was, okay, first of all, if you watched the pilot, did that convince you to sign up for CBS All Access, which is a paid service? Secondly, if you saw the image of the cast taking a knee, did that sway your opinion one way or the other? Before
we get that, I do have one more con.
Go for it.
Con. After Trek.
Oh, yeah, that's a disaster.
Did you even
That's
watch?
A train wreck.
Did you even try to watch that?
I'm not even going to waste
I'm sorry.
airtime.
Should we talk about this?
No, we're not even going to talk about. No, we're not.
Okay, post show.
No, you know that show that we always dog?
Yeah.
Worse than that.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, goodness. Okay, so a lot of people, and I'm going to read just a couple of comments here because we're quickly running out of time. A lot of people said that they either they were opposed to Discovery ahead of time, and then the show just cemented their opposition, and they were never going to sign up anyway, or they don't really care about the taking a knee. Erin Lundquist says that she saw it and signed up right away for CBS All Access, and she appreciates their gesture of solidarity on human rights because that is a huge part of Star Trek, which I can certainly get behind that. David Hill says, I could not finish the first episode because to me it was so horrible that it does not deserve the Star Trek name being attached to it. Okay, Ryan Charlesworth says, I will definitely sign up once all episodes are available. Netflix and Amazon and Hulu do it right. And then as far as did the photo sway his opinion, he says, the photo is Star Trek, so yeah, I love it, but it doesn't change my opinion of the show. I'm going to read one more and then we'll move on here. Jeremy Upton says, saw it, was not impressed, would not pay for all access.
So you want to know a little trick?
Go for it.
So, depending upon whether or not they keep all the episodes or if they just have a running 5 or 6, wait till the season's over, do your free week, and knock them all out.
There you go.
Well, unfortunately now everyone's kind of stolen my thunder because I was going to make my big announcement about what I was going to do here. I was on record several different times as saying that I was not sold on Discovery, and it would take a home run for me to sign up for CBS All Access. And I'm going to tell you right now, I was really on the fence until the picture. And keep in mind, this is my opinion. if I knew more about the goal and what they wanted to accomplish other than just, I mean, it almost seems like, let's do it because it's hip and trendy. Let's do it because it's worth getting attention. Because the caption attached to it was just, we're taking a knee. Well, it's great, but what do you want? What do you want to accomplish with taking a knee? So what I will do is I will watch it, but I will do what Goose suggested, what others have suggested, and I will binge watch during my free week of CBS All Access and just let it go.
Let it go.
That's about it.
Let it go.
There are other shows that I know my wife and I would enjoy on CBS All Access, but man, we've got Sling and Netflix and Amazon Instant Prime, and we've got Stars Online, and we've got so much already that I just don't know that I would really take full advantage of CBS All Access, even though it's only $6 a month. But you know what I found interesting, and we'll wrap this up so we can move on to Blade Runner. We all talked about the visuals and how awesome they were and how impressive they were. Isn't that the one thing that a lot of people slam about the Star Wars prequels? Is that if you're in it for the visuals, then boy, you're missing the point.
If there's a pod race scene coming up,
oh God, help us all.
The pod race was cool.
You know where you can play a lot of Star Wars games though is over at Laser Legend. Laser Legend on the north side of San Antonio, off of Lookout Road and I-35, does have Star Wars games that Goose and I, yes sir, fist bump. We topped the charts, man. We got the high score on one of the Star Wars Battle Pod game.
Yep, they actually have a link where you can do co-op. That's
co-op
really cool.
mode, so that was pretty cool. We want you to check out our friends over at Laser Legend. Okay, so with that being said, let's talk a little bit of Blade Runner news here. Blade Runner 2049 will be coming out next Friday.
Yes.
However, I got a little invite from Warner Brothers.
Thanks, Dave.
Well, look, they specifically said in the email, 1 ticket, no guests, no exceptions.
That's what he tells us, right?
You want to read the email? I'll have
okay.
you. I'm sorry, there's nothing I could do. I can't even bring my device into the building. No phones, no iPads, nothing.
No, it's going to be waiting outside with me.
I am subject to search. There's nothing I can do about it.
I'll do the search.
But here's what we'll do. Tuesday morning, after I watch Blade Runner 2049, I will do a review right outside the theater. Goose will be there. We'll be outside. We will record it, and I will give you a spoiler-free review. It'll come right from me, so you'll know whether or not it's just outstanding, whether it sucks. I will not hold back whatsoever.
So you think you could get a couple of passes for Peter and I to go see it later?
Sure, later.
Good, cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah, awesome.
Okay. All right, I will talk to our friends over at the Alamo Draft House, and we'll get y'all some passes.
Cool.
Okay, so let's talk about, real quick, our friends over at Southtown Games. Southtown Games on the south side of San Antonio on Pleasanton Road near Loop 410. All three of us have been to Southtown Games, and all three of us love it. There are so many tournaments. If you go to their Facebook page, you search for Southtown Games, look at their events calendar. It is crammed with tournaments. Absolute tournaments for so many different games that you could possibly want to play. And if you're curious about a game, if you've heard about a game but you want to try something out and you're not sure if you want to buy it, go down there and talk to them. Their staff is knowledgeable, they're friendly. They literally are your gaming family that wants to welcome you. That's our friends down at Southtown Games.
We still need to get that Dragon Ball game.
We absolutely do. We got to find a way to do it this weekend. All right, so we're going to do some box office predictions here. And I want you to keep in mind, this is a serious weekend for movies because the My Little Pony movie comes out at the same time. And I'm not joking, this could be serious competition. Now, back in the day when movies were only $5 a pop for matinees, okay, you could take your 8-year-old daughter and her friends to see My Little Pony and then go see Blade Runner that night with your pals. However, now that movies, you're looking at like $30 a pop plus food, plus drinks, plus everything else. There's a lot to consider now. A lot of people are going to have to choose between taking their little daughter and her bestest friends in the whole wide world to see My Little Pony or to go see Blade Runner 2049, and who wants to let down their little 8-year-old daughter and all of her bestest friends. I'm serious. I think that My Little Pony will make an impact on the box office.
Grant you, this is a room full of guys who have no kids, so yeah.
and hopefully, if me and fiance do have kids, we're going to go watch Blade Runner because we're going to raise our kids in sci-fi.
Yes, but if you have a 6-7-year-old daughter and she says, "Daddy, Daddy, Daddy, please take me to see My Little Pony," what are you going to do?
No, we're going to go see Blade Runner because I brought her up on this already.
But you understand she's
R.
7 and it's rated R.
It's rated R.
Well, I can cover her eyes.
Minion. Okay.
Bad Minion, bad.
All right, so we're going to have an opening for a co-host. So I think it's going to make a serious impact on the box office. Now, I'm not saying it's going to overtake it. I'm not saying anything like that. But it's going to be a problem. This is one of the most expensive R-rated movies of all time. I'm calling my shot right now. $50 million domestic opening weekend.
50, you say?
50 opening weekend
Wow.
domestic.
45.
45, Goose?
60.
60. All right, we'll be right back after the bottom of the hour news break. We've called our shot, ladies and gentlemen, right here on 930 AM Talk Radio and 930 AM TheAnswer.com. Welcome back from the bottom of the hour news break. This is Get Your Geek On 930 AM Talk Radio, powered by Southtown Games on Pleasanton Road near Loop 410 on the south side of San Antonio, where your gaming family wants to welcome you. I am Dave Gramillion, and if you missed the first half of the show, boy, it went by really fast. We had a lot to talk about. There was the recap of Star Trek Discovery. We had some news to talk about as far as the pros, the cons, what we liked, what we didn't like, and also talk about just how popular the pilot was. We also talked some Blade Runner news. I will be seeing the movie early on Tuesday due to an invite from Warner Brothers, and I will do a review immediately afterwards. You can find it on our Facebook page, facebook.com/GYGO Radio. The review will be done on Tuesday morning before noon. All right.
Depending on how long the movie is. If the movie's 3 hours, it won't be before noon.
Well, that's true as well. I don't think it's that long, though.
It's contingent on the runtime of the movie, folks.
So the original Blade Runner movie barely broke even. Its budget was $30 million. The budget for this Blade Runner movie was $180 million. More expensive than The Last Samurai, Troy, almost as expensive as Terminator 3, which is the most expensive R-rated movie ever made, at $200 million.
So it's the most expensive piece of crud movie ever made.
Yeah, that's about right.
Well, yeah.
Now, we called our shots here. I think that opening weekend, Blade Runner will make $50 million domestic. Goose called 60, and Minion called 45 million.
Yeah.
Well, you have Ryan Gosling. That's going to draw the female audience right there.
I may change my answer at this point. Okay.
Well,
No, I'm not just because I said Ryan Gosling.
no, too late. Cat's out of the bag now. Someone's a Gosling.
No, not because. The reason why I'm saying that is because I think that
Somebody's a Gosfile.
He got me on that, but no.
Do you like to cosplay?
It's okay, me.
I'm just going to shut up.
Oh, good.
No, I was going to say the reason I think why Blade Runner probably may do even better than a lot of people may expect is because it started out as a cult classic, and plus, well, Harrison came back even though he hated the movie, and I think that people just may be curious about this, and then again, plus Harrison Ford, is still a box office draw.
What's also a good draw is our friends over at Pro Defense Pest Control. San Antonio, it has gotten really wet out there again, and with the rain brings the critters, fire ants, termites,
Rats.
bugs, roaches, scorpions, the whole 9 yards. They're going to be growing like crazy. You want to get in touch with our friends over at Pro Defense Pest Control, ask for a free termite inspection. All right, so let's move. We're going to move beyond Blade Runner here, but we're going to keep to our predictions and see what happens next week. But let's go ahead and we're going to break out some Marvel news here, shall we?
This is that sequel to the smash hit with no equal. This one's for the true fans with Hulk hands and action figures. Flying, dining, saving you.
Alrighty, so the Inhumans. So Marvel is coming out with new TV shows. We talked about how there will be 14 Marvel TV shows coming out in the next year. 14 shows in the next 12 months, and the Inhumans is one of the first ones, and the early reviews are in, and they're not good.
No.
Oh. They're really, really not good. Currently sitting at a 6% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Wait. Hold on. I think I need to play more music, different music for this. Hang on.
Oh, dude, that's a sick burn. No, turn that down. No.
Boom.
6% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I know what you're saying. Oh, well, it's critics. It's critics. What do the critics know? 5.2 on IMDb.
I will say I enjoyed the premiere. I enjoyed it. I really did.
So you're one of those that gave it above a 5.2. Let me give you some IMDb shows that have received higher ratings than a 5.2. Monica the Medium, The Singing Bee.
Oh, Lord.
Fat and Furious Rolling Thunder.
That's what I used to call my band director in high school.
The Cosby Mysteries. I actually remember that show. That was and the Tommy Knockers miniseries.
Oh, Lord. Stephen
Yes,
King. Dear God.
Jimmy Smits and the whole 9 yards, and those shows got higher ratings than the Inhumans.
It's out already?
It came out yesterday.
Oh, I must have missed that one. So.
Well, apparently you didn't miss all that much. So,
okay.
The reviews include, these are the following little snippets of reviews. Polygon.com says, why has Marvel decided that the Inhumans are so hot right now? Because they don't have the film rights to the X-Men. Yeah, okay. Uprocks.com says, the whole thing, whether it takes place on the moon or down here on Earth, looks incredibly cheap.
I wouldn't go that far.
They go on to say the show has no reason to exist except Marvel wants it to.
Yeah. I saw an interesting story the other day about another Marvel series.
Okay, well, hang on. Let's wrap this up and we'll get to that. This comes from Paste Magazine. They say, quote, there are several somethings that are missing. One is good writing.
Ooh. Ouch.
Another is compelling characters. And they do say editing. Well, there's a paucity of good editing. The costumes look slapped together. And the CG Megadoggy. I like that one.
Yeah, that's a new
Good old Lockjaw.
Yeah, it has more personality than most of the Inhuman characters. They go on to say this thing's a total lemon.
Ooh. I wouldn't go that far.
And finally, this comes from Variety.
Oh boy.
This is Variety, okay? So take this in mind. If you have a superpower, use it to race away from Inhumans faster than the speed of light.
Ooh, dang.
That is harsh.
So they're saying you should get away from there in a flash?
In a flash. Hey, there we go. So this is not looking good for Inhumans. This could be a one-season wonder.
Well, it's an 8. I think it's like Agent Carter, 8 episodes, and that was it. I think it's what I think.
Didn't Agent Carter last more than one season?
Well, it went 2 seasons, but I think it was only 8 episodes a season.
Well, I don't think this is going to get a season 2 at this rate.
And what channel? What station?
ABC.
ABC will have it.
Okay.
It's going to. Last night it was from 7 to 9 Central. Next week it'll start at 8 o'clock, I think.
But didn't we say this is going to be a Friday night show? Or
Friday night, yeah.
Yeah,
Ouch,
and we said
kids of death.
And we say Friday night is the night of death for TV shows.
So, well, with like
especially
I said, sci-fi
in football season,
sci-fi can be a little different because Sci-Fi Channel did a good thing. Also, Last Man Standing lasted for 6 years.
There are exceptions to the rule, of course, but a lot of shows go to Friday night to die. And
so,
Inhumans,
speaking of shows that were going to die,
yes, go ahead.
So I read, and I'm not entirely sure how accurate this is, but they did have a link to Variety, and I read it from Variety. So apparently, people at ABC wanted to cancel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. after season 4. Disney said no.
But Disney,
you're staying on.
But Disney,
that show's staying on for at least one more season. So Disney forced ABC to keep Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Good on you, Disney. Good job.
On you. Well, it's got to lead up to Infinity War at least, for Pete's sake.
Well,
for my sake?
That's true. It's got to tie into it somehow, and I'm not sure the Inhumans are going to tie into anything. I think
they're going to tie into the unemployment rate.
Wow. Ooh. Well, they're certainly not going to make Marvel great again.
Oh,
not on television. So the Marvel crash and burn train seems to continue along. Now, The Gifted is about to come out on Fox, and I've heard good things about The Gifted.
Well, The Gifted is X-Men, so
exactly,
which means Hugh Jackman's got to show up eventually.
Yeah, if he's in between movies, you never
can tell. It's entirely possible.
Or Deadpool.
So I saw
something
something the other day. So Days of Future Past, the X-Men changed the future where everybody dies,
right,
to Logan, a future where everybody dies.
Yeah, where everyone dies, exactly. So we want to hear from you, though. If you saw Inhumans, we want to hear from you. Leave a post on our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/GYGO radio, or shoot us a tweet at GYGO_official. I want to know what you thought of the Inhumans, because apparently not a lot of people thought very much of it at all.
Not much at all.
Not even a little bit.
Or as Han Solo would say, I try not to.
Yeah, that's about right. Okay, so we have Discovery. we have
Yes.
the Orville,
Yes.
which I saw episode 3, and I was not happy with episode 3. Episode 3 was a giant political correctness, just in your face, shove it down your throat mess. I liked the first 2 episodes. I didn't think that they were the greatest thing I'd ever seen.
They moved to Thursday nights, correct?
They moved to Thursday night,
Yeah, but they decided to get preachy a little too early.
and really preachy. I mean, they hit so many angles with the 3rd episode. I mean, it was like it was like standing outside a Milo Yiannopoulos rally.
Oh, what kind of rally?
Milo Yiannopoulos.
Oh, that
yeah.
weirdo.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
you stand outside, that's where you get all the PC protesters and all that. That's what it was like, because they hit the sex change, they hit the transgender, they hit women's rights, they hit patriarchy, they hit racism and speciesism, and they hit parental rights, and they hit gay couples' rights, and they hit so many buttons that the 3rd episode oh my God.
Which means they're good. They don't have to do another PC episode the rest of the series.
Pretty much. I mean, they
checked all the boxes on that one.
The only thing they were
Good
missing
Lord.
was at the end of the episode tearing down a statue. That's the only thing they were missing. And renaming a couple of high schools. That was about it. It hit all the other buttons. So it really kind of turned me off to the series. But if we're talking about just the first, we're going to compare the first 2 episodes of Discovery to the first 2 episodes of Orville. We're going to, lucky for them, we're leaving episode 3 out of this. Otherwise,
this week.
Oh my goodness! I haven't seen episode 4 yet. I need to. I do have YouTube TV, courtesy of my brother. Thank you. I do have YouTube TV, so I'm going to check that out here eventually.
Pirates. I work with pirates.
Arr.
Well, no. It's all
Avast ye
strictly
mateys.
legal. I assure you. I'm on his family connection thing. So.
Letter and spirit are 2 different things.
All right. So here's my first question to our little round table discussion here.
Yes, sir.
Will Star Trek Discovery be the first Trek series that fans have been looking for since Voyager was sent home in 2001?
No, because the Enterprise did well in the 4th season.
1 out of 4 seasons. Congratulations.
Well, 1 was okay, too.
25% of the show.
3 was horrible, but 4 was great.
Yeah, it's also the first series not to go 7 seasons. And let's face it,
No,
let's
the
be
original
honest,
series didn't go 7 seasons. The original series didn't even go 4.
not for lack of trying. But let's be honest here. Enterprise is not exactly the most beloved series.
Neither's Voyager.
Yeah, I would say it's more beloved than Enterprise. So here's the question. Is this the first Trek series the fans have been waiting for since 2001?
Yes and no. Yes, because it's going to have the special effects. It's going to have the storytelling. It's going to have the serialized storytelling that we enjoyed when Rick Berman left Deep Space Nine alone and let Ira Stephen Burr have it. But you're leaving a lot on the table by it being streaming only, by
That's
it being
true.
behind a paywall.
Yeah.
But by the same token, you have a better chance of grabbing the demographic and being able to gear it more towards them. The purists who like to nitpick and are in a continuity are going to probably have issues that they may not be able to sustain. The Klingons may not be able to, people may not be okay with that. The fact that Orville's on broadcast television is a big deal.
That is.
But I say that because of the directness of the fans of Star Trek and the fact that they are paying CBS directly, odds are Discovery will probably hold out.
Minion, what do you think?
It's kind of hard to say because I'm kind of curious about this. Again, I want to know more about it. Like I said, I didn't get a chance to see all of it, but it's new Trek, and it's like kind of what y'all were saying. It doesn't have the Rick Berman
Curse.
influence.
It
Yeah.
feels very Abrams.
Yeah, and that's why I was wondering if it was said in the whole Abrams thing. Because like I said, I came in late, unfortunately.
You know what was very nice about this, though, is that not at any time just did Discovery say, well, we're the only ship in range. Or not Discovery, I'm sorry, the Shenzhou.
But,
Shenzhou.
yeah.
Discovery is next week.
That's right.
Okay, so, yeah, I'm still kind of curious. I still want to know more about it. But I think of course you're going to have your built-in audience already. And I think they're going to follow it regardless. Because Trekkers are still diehard fans. And they will, I've met Trekkers who have come across, who crossed the globe to come to our convention in San Diego or wherever. And this for the hardcore Trekker, it's in the blood.
I like playing checkers. That's fun.
Yes.
All right, so it looks like the pilot and the second episode have hooked people.
Right.
It was much better than anybody ever expected, and it was not the giant train wreck that people thought it would be 1 month ago.
Oh, I thought that thing was going to be horrible.
Everybody thought it was going to be a nightmare. Everybody hated everything. They hated the uniforms. They hated the ship. They hated the characters. They hated everything about it.
Well, you know why I'm glad we saw it at where we saw it, the undisclosed location?
Why is that?
Because I would have had my finger on that, discontinue button, in subscription button the entire way.
Pretty much. Yeah, the gulag of Rua Pente is where we saw it.
Just wait for it.
Okay, so here's the question. So it hooked people. What must Discovery do to keep people on the hook?
Honestly, keep doing what they're doing. Realize that what we saw was indeed a pilot, because a lot of these people we won't ever see again.
Well, and consider this. Think about the pilots that Star Trek has had. I want you to think about how beloved Star Trek The Next Generation is. Because 30th anniversary, people love Star Trek The Next Generation. It is the most popular, if not right up there with Deep Space Nine, as far as Star Trek series go. And think about how lousy that pilot was.
Well, Deep Space Nine is more later, kind of like...
But Encounter at Farpoint, though.
Encounter at Farpoint
it was not a good...
Let's not talk about the first 2 seasons of Next Gen.
My point exactly. And yet, the pilot for this series was such a hit.
The pilot for this series was great.
What must people do what must they do to keep people hooked?
Like what Angel Aragon said here, make it free on CBS.
Well, besides that,
yeah,
that's not going to happen.
Because it's not going to happen
at least until season 2.
What must the show do? What must the writers, directors?
I think being more the casual trekker and the closet trekker, and one day hope to be out of the closet. Sorry.
You and Ryan Gosling, right?
Yes.
On the next episode of Orville.
No, I think so long as they kind of keep it the same type of way how Trek has always gone. How it's kept a little, social consciousness here and there. And so long as they have great stories, interesting characters, and just give you a reason to care about these characters, I think it's got a good shot of really doing really, really well. And like I said, you still have your built-in audience that are there.
For me, what they have to do is they have to keep it adult. And I don't mean, fist fights and cursing and nudity and whatever. No, what I mean is no Wesley Crusher.
Yes,
I mean,
no offense to...
Well, I'm saying no Nog and Jake Sisko.
Right. So,
no kids. No, who were the little Borg kids in Voyager?
Oh, yeah.
Naomi Wildman and all that. Yeah,
well, she wasn't a Borg kid.
Well, but her and the Borg kids. I mean, no kids. Get the kid actors out of this. Keep it an adult show.
So keep it family friendly, yet kind of like the original series.
Right.
Yes.
More or less. So, as we talked about before, there is a book out there called Desperate Measures that actually the crew of the Shenzhou encounters Christopher Pike in the Enterprise. And if you notice, the uniforms on Discovery look like a cross between Enterprise and the original series. The reason for that, according to the book, is that was the Starfleet uniform of the day, with the uniforms that Pike wore and Kirk were at the time limited only to the Constitution-class starships.
Really?
Shenzhou looked like the NX-01 Enterprise, but with the nacelles on the lower half.
It did, yes.
So the Enterprise, the Constitution-class Enterprise, was a later design than the Shenzhou.
Well, which, if you think about it, isn't out of the norm of possibilities, because our military have different uniforms.
And
the Air
they've
Force,
evolved.
The Air Force has dress blues. They have normal blues. They have battle dress uniforms. They have their their fatigues. The Marines have several different uniforms. The Army several different uniforms.
Oh,
and so
Navy has
Navy.
Navy has 87. The Navy had to accessorize.
Now the problem is the fact that you need a novel to explain it away is because they did the same thing with Enterprise. So there's a book called The Good That Men Do, which explains away the last episode of Enterprise, which was
the one where it was all a dream.
It was all holodeck fantasy. Like I said, the 2 episodes that Rick Berman ran in season 4 were horrible. The rest of season 4 was very good.
Well, it's going back to did they need a book to explain it away? They could have done it in a press release and just said, "Look, guys, here's the deal." They got a bunch of different uniforms, just like our military does.
Or they could have said, "It was the '60s. Shut up."
Well, that too.
the low budget shows.
that too. So, all right. So here's the big question: which show will die first? Discovery.
There we go.
Which is behind a paywall, so that'll automatically cut down the number of people, or the Orville, which is we're not quite sure what that show is yet.
That's the problem. I think that's what's going to kill Orville.
I think so,
because it's a drama that wants so badly to be a comedy.
That's true. It is a drama with comedy elements. It's not quite a dramedy.
No, but you can tell Seth MacFarlane is holding back.
Yes, absolutely. You can tell just in the episodes that they want this to be a more Family Guy type show.
Right.
But I think Fox wants it to have that appeal, the wide audience appeal. So they are
not
very safe.
They are.
Discovery's not safe. I mean, can I give a spoiler alert?
All right. Well, let's do spoiler alert. We're doing a spoiler. Do we have a sound effect for spoiler alert? I think we're doing it somewhere.
Hang on.
Well, while you're looking for that, real quick, yeah, the Orville doesn't. You get the feeling watching it that it's like a basketball team with 5 brand new players at the starting 5. You don't know what they are yet. Yeah. So let's do our spoiler alert.
Red alert. All hands stand to battle stations.
What is this?
Shields up! Red alert! Shields!
Red alert.
All right, the captain of the Shinzu dies in the second episode.
He gets stabbed in the chest
by a Klingon.
Ouch. Which, by the way, that was
and he dies too.
That's going to leave a mark.
That was a low point for me for the series. For the series. Hello, it's 2 episodes old, but I mean, you want to capture a Klingon warlord who is going to be surrounded by bodyguards with other Klingons all around him, and they're a warrior race much stronger than you are, and you send
the captain, the first officer with phasers.
The captain and first officer with phasers, and I'm sorry, ladies, but they're ladies, and one of them is like 58 years old.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
She can kick butt, though.
Yeah, but why just send the 2 of them? Why don't you send like 20 people over there, all armed to the teeth? What? Really?
No red shirts were available.
Well, there's not a single red shirt in there. They all wear blue.
Everyone wears blue.
Somebody's got to wear red underneath somewhere.
I mean, come on. Really? You just send the 2 of them? Oh, my God. Okay, all right. Well, okay. So let's go around the horn here. Which one dies first? Goose, you said you believe the Orville will die first.
I do.
Despite the Discovery being behind a paywall.
I do, because, again, we have more direct funding. You can actually tell not just the number of TVs, but the actual number of viewers.
When will the Orville die? Will it last a season, 2 seasons?
I'm going to say maybe 2, but my heart says 1.
Okay. Minion.
I'm going to go with Discovery because, like I said, you have your built-in audience, and we haven't had
so
Trek on TV.
Die first.
Discovery will die first.
No. Discovery is going to
so
do
Orville
well. Orville will
die.
The reason why is because I think that Discovery has a built-in audience. We haven't had Trek on TV in a while. Orville is going to die, I'd say, within a season and 2, either season and a half or within 2 seasons.
I don't think either one of them will last beyond 3 seasons.
Ooh.
I don't think Discovery will last 3 seasons.
Ooh.
Well, okay, let me put it this way. It'll go 3 seasons and then that's it.
Well, the good part is they said season 1 is available on CBS All Access. Who knows what happens after season 1?
Good point.
Right.
Well, of course, all this is of course subject to change. We're doing this as of today. But here's the thing. I think Orville will not be renewed for a 3rd season. I think I'm calling my shot. I'm saying you thought maybe. I'm saying it'll go through season 1. Seth MacFarlane has enough clout to get another season, and that's where it'll end.
Okay. I think for Seth MacFarlane, I think his heart is still with Family Guy and other projects he's going to want to do. I have a feeling he's going to probably get bored with us at some point.
I think he's either going to get bored, or I think the writers and he are just going to start clashing.
And knowing Fox and Sci-Fi and Firefly,
yeah.
Well, and on our chat, Angela Aragon Sola says, "Hey, Orville does have an audience, which is true. It's the audience who refuses to pay for Star Trek. Well, but when that stops resembling Star Trek so much and tries to be something that it's not, and you can tell that they're just handcuffing themselves. That's when those people will start to die off, and then it's done.
And every show has an audience when it starts. It's a question of staying power, and I don't know that the Orville is going to have staying power. I question it.
I mean, the effects look great, but I have to agree with Dave here. I don't think it's going to last. I don't think,
and I don't think Discovery will go beyond season 3.
I don't know. It's hard to say.
I think
that one could go a little further, though.
I think it could, but I think that season 1 you'll start to see a decline. I think it'll be a big hit, but I think it will decline. I think season 2 is when things will really start to drop.
If it makes it to season 11, which it won't, but let's say it does. we must have a little trial and tribulations action going on.
Trials and tribulations.
They have to meet.
Oh,
Kirk and Spock in the Enterprise.
And the Enterprise.
I mean, if it's just a matter of, they're at a starbase and they just see see Kirk and Spock walking around or something like that, that's got to happen if it makes it to 11.
By the way, speaking of Star Trek, this is the 30th anniversary. It was on Thursday, actually. It was the 30th anniversary of The Next Generation. And we've talked about Next Generation on here before, but man, I just want to salute those people. The cast, the crew, the writers, the directors. Those guys work 16-hour days. They have to memorize their lines on very short notice. They have to deal with props and blue screens, and it's a grueling business. So I appreciate everything that they've done. I appreciate you for listening as well. That will wrap it up here. If you want to tweet at us, you can find us at GYGO_official. You can shoot me an email at davethehost@getyourgeekon.org. For Goose, for Minion, and for myself, I want to thank our sponsors, Southtown Games, Laser Legend, The Mailing Spot, and Pro Defense Pest Control. Thanks for listening. Be excellent to each other, and make sure to get your geek on every single day.